Hi there, and welcome to this week's coaching tip. I deal with a lot of agents who tell me that, Josh, what I want to do is I really want to try and get my name out there in the marketplace. I really want to try and build my profile as quick as I can. But the challenge with that is that often it's about a misunderstanding of what it actually is that you do to really build that profile. You see, I've never found a better profile builder than getting signs up and sold stickers applied, about getting properties online and then having them sold. And this is really important to understand, that consumers today are looking for agents who are already successful in the marketplace. And so literally putting another DL in their letterbox that they're not going to read is not really going to make that difference. What I look at in the way that I work with people is how can we build profile in a rapid phase to really change the way that we work with the consumer. Let's think about it. And we used to call it the mayor campaign. Imagine that you want to become the mayor of your local area. How quickly would you need to build your profile if you knew that those council elections were just 60 days away? So this is not a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 year experience. It's about literally thinking about what you can do to be where the customer is well before they need you. Now, what I do with people is I get them to think about the modern consumer experience. And here's a great question for you. Let's have a look at the humble letterbox. How long did you spend at your letterbox in the course of the last week? And it's a really interesting question because I think the answer is probably going to be less than a minute. So why are we worried about what we're putting in the letterbox when in fact we should be more worried about where the consumer is spending their time? New consumer research has identified that the average Australian or New Zealander spends around 6.5 hours a week on social. And so if we're looking to build profile inside of a particular marketplace, we can actually go to what we call geotargeting. Now, what geotargeting says is that if someone actually lives in a specific area, or if, for example, they've put on their profile that they're interested in a particular area, then what we can do is we can serve ads and or video content specifically to those people. Now, this is what I love to think about, is that if you can naturally make that decision to get good at video, it's such a great medium in order to be able to distribute your message or your content. Because now not only can you email it to your client base, you can SMS it out, you can also have a YouTube channel, and the most important thing here, you can now retarget that video content specifically to those people so that when they're going online, they're actually now starting to build profile around you and what it is that you do in the marketplace. And this is really important. It's not just about getting your name out there, it's actually about getting the messaging right to really connect with your consumer. Now let's have a look at where messaging is critically important. In the 2016 US election, Donald Trump had a marketing line called "Let's Make America Great Again." And interesting enough, everyone knew that across the globe. But then you have a look at Hillary Clinton, and then you have a look at what was her marketing line, and not many people can really know it, but what it was fighting for us. Or was it fighting for the US? You see, this is the difference, is that there was a clear slogan, but no one really understood it. Yet when you have a look at Trump's marketing line about "Make America Great Again," it was a really simplistic idea. It's something that you could really hook into. Now, regardless of whether or not you like Trump or any of the above, what's really important is the marketing lesson that we're learning here. How do you get yourself clearly out there in the marketplace so that people can understand what it is that you do? Now, there's no doubt that today's consumer is going to search online. They're going to have a look at the available agents in the area. They're going to filter that search based on specific parameters. Do they have videos online? Do they have properties online? Does it look like they're successful around what it is that they do? And then they're either going to make the decision to add to cart in terms of a possible selection or delete you from their selection list. So what you need to think about is that, are you in all of the positions where the consumer is going to be searching for you? Now, we know that Google is a massive search engine and YouTube is then the next search engine that they're going to be looking at. So if you want to increase your profile here, it's other things that you could be doing. That could be simple things like, for example, getting a Google review. What that does is that will significantly boost your rankings for when people search for you on Google. Also, in addition to that, making sure that you've got great video content. And what I think is the most important is that you should talk with your videographer about producing a really simple video called "Who You Are, What You Do, and How You Help." Because the answers to those 3 questions is about getting your messaging right so it's so clear from the consumer's perspective about why they should choose you as their agent. Now, this is not an ego piece about BMWs and open for inspection flags. This is about really understanding the core of what it actually is that you do for a customer. And you could talk about things how in order to maximize the sale price, you know that from the consumer's point of view, what they're actually looking for is the right lifestyle. And that if they walk into a home and they feel that it's got everything that they want, then they're going to make the decision to pay a much, much higher sale price. The consumer today in a convenience world will pay more for a home where everything's already done for them. So how do we get the property presented in a way that it feels like everything's already done? You can see that what we're talking about here is about positioning of you and your brand. And that positioning is critically important in the way that you go to work with the consumer. So think, who are you? What do you do? And how do you help the customer? Get the answer to those 3 questions and you will build a profile quicker than you want to know. We look forward to seeing you in next week's coaching tip.